is this your first LP?
Or yeah, it's our first album, and
So
it's
go ahead.
yeah, 6 years in the making.
I was gonna say how I was gonna ask how long it's been. So what inspired after 6 years you finally just saying let's write or record this full length? Is it something you attempted before? I think if
Um,
we're assuming our listeners aren't in bands and they really don't know how albums work, they're not. If you want to go about recording them the right way, they're not very inexpensive to do.
oh, they're rough. I feel like the the reason that we recorded it now was because that like so we started it a year ago, and there was a point where we all kind of were like, are we gonna keep doing this or not? Like essentially, like are we gonna what we have not made a record yet, like what we have to, or it's like not gonna this band can't keep going because it's been over half a decade without a full length record, and we have so much ideas, and we just like still get together all the time, and it just never was like and like we've talked about it in passing, but it kind of was just like the thing that sealed the deal of this band like keeping on going. And we definitely were lazier when we were younger. So it was definitely a level of like it was a level of like we wanted to make a record, but we just were like, too much money, like maybe next year kind of vibes. And
Sure.
then but we've definitely like last year it was like, all right, gotta do this. We feel like we've been looked at as that band that doesn't do shit and just plays shows for too long. And we just we realized that yeah, we had to save up, do that, deal with that. Yeah, and now we are already writing a second record. So it's a weird like recording is so wonderful and fulfilling and addicting. So like we finished this record, now we put it out, and now we are already set on making another one. So
Do you prefer to be in the studio or play live?
um I would say that I would prefer playing live, but there's no feeling like if you nail something in the studio. Like if you like if there's something that like if like the best feeling for me personally with music as a whole is that whole like when you're listening back to a take and it's like you're jamming, like you feel like you're jamming to like what you did. Like you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like I can bob my head into this. I feel like it's cool, and that is definitely the best feeling. Like being able to like listen back to something that you made and feel like you can hear that like in your car. Like that shit is like that's a great thing.
So coming in, you knew that you were going to do this full length, and again, you saved up your money. Did you kind of just say, you know, we're going to see where our creativity takes us, or did you kind of nail down a plan of we're going to do X amount of songs, we're going to get it done between this month, and so on and so forth?
Um, we are like we have been we like last year we planned so many different months to do it,
Oh, sure.
and it every
Well,
single time it just
you're
was like
also dealing with how many schedules, right? Because of how many members you have.
yeah, but like now it's like oh my god, now we're all like in it, so like it's like there's
Nice.
no even we all just want to do whatever we can. But like back then, yeah, we were like on top of schedules being rough, we were also like just planning it, and then like we just didn't feel ready yet. We didn't like feel like we had the right songs, and then we had a like months before we planned a July recording with Evan, and like deciding to do Evan was because I did another band with him called Magic Relin where we recorded with Evan, and decided to do that because I never felt more comfortable in the studio with someone else. So we just we chose July. We wrote some of these songs very right before the record and like very last minute. And I have the lyrics for a while, but like we rushed, like not rushed, but like got a couple of them done right before. And so July was good. It was a good deadline to set. And then it was a year in the making because that oh my god, like the whole never did the record process. So the whole thing with like putting out a full length was way more wild than I expected. Like the whole like planning thing for it,
Sure.
and being able to like like just like decisions. It's like I don't even like know where to go to dinner. Or like I don't even know where to take a walk with my good friends sometimes. And like choosing like what color your record of 350 like that are getting just like distributed, like if you choose like choosing what color the vinyl is going to be, those are like big weird decisions that like just got me so like swamped like for like a whole year, like just figuring all those little ass things out. And like just realizing that like a record takes that much work is like ridiculous, because like we literally July 2019 is when we recorded it.
Wow. Yeah. Well, and then you talk about pressing all those vinyls. You released this record through Don Giovani Records, correct?
Yes.
How did, I mean, if you're able to speak to it at any sense, like how did that partnership come about? Like how were you able to hook up with them?
That was a lot of years in the making too, because
Of course.
New Jersey. I knew Joe. I knew Joe because that we played an after party for. He had a music festival called the New Alternative Music Fest, and that was like an Asbury Park Fest that like Screaming Females played, like Tenement, bunch of Don Giovani bands, and a friend of his that knew us told him that like we're a cool band to have play, because he was trying to book like all locals after parties. And like he wanted like, I guess he wanted like party bands, like fun bands. And his friend like mentioned us and he booked us, and then we met him through that. We've probably been hitting him up to put out our record since we first started. So um Joe's like a really close friend, so I don't feel bad making this joke that like the harassment also probably helped. Um, and like and no, it's been great. Like I've been hitting him up for 6 years to put out a record. Like every time we finish something, and then he was like really down, and he actually reached out to us about like, yo, you got a record going on now? Like my time is freeing up like a year and a half ago, and I was like, oh shit, definitely, because that was they're such a good label, so it was like really fun to like put it out with them.
Yeah. And it was such exciting news for us to see, Teenage Halloween get kind of, that kind of deal, if you will. And I think it's, yes, you were friendly with Joe, and yes, you played that show for him, but you guys put in so much work. And I
Thank
think
you.
it's, I think people start bands, they're like, okay, I'm just going to write a song and then we're going to get signed and then all my dreams are going to come true. But it's not. How many tours did Teenage Halloween do? Like, how far have you traveled? And again, it's been 6 years in the making.
I would say the farthest we ever went was like St. Louis. Like we never went past there, weird enough. But we went to Fest in 2018, and we did a lot of tours though. That's the thing. Like we did a whole lot of tours, but never to like the West Coast and stuff. And I would definitely consider it a lot of work, because it was like as many tours and weekends as we could do like per year, like with like really excessive promoting and stuff. So it definitely feels good to sit back and be like, all right, people are helping us with something. Like it's time to just like sit back and let things happen.
Yeah, that's terrific. That's terrific. And I mean, I mentioned it before. You've always been a role model, because
Thank you.
we've only had the opportunity and the time to do maybe a quick weekender here and there. But we'll feel like it was difficult, and we've had a lot of fun, and we felt we put the work in. But then we go, but look at what Teenage Halloween's doing. Like they've got it.
Well, I definitely would say that in a way, the excessive level of touring at a young age is counterproductive to like your future. So I think that it's cool that y'all at least like went to school and stuff. And like when this thing is done, like you're gonna be like rocking all over, because you're doing like all of your things that you want to do. And I feel like even though music is a very like attainable and good goal, it's just it definitely like it feels weird thinking about how long we've been doing it when we assess that we're only 22. Like me and like a couple others, like we've been doing this shit since high school, and we were like fuck college, rock and roll only, and shit like that. And like it feels like it's paying off now, but for a long time it was like, damn, this is really ridiculous of us. Like we really thought this was like a good move and like stuff like that.